So yeah, I haven't really been posting on this channel for a month. I'm stuck at home with a cold, just a common cold. I can't go to work, I can't do anything. So I decided, you know what, I'm gonna go over my bookcases. And my theory is because I still have a bit of a fever. You know how sometimes you don't always need to be silly to do silly things? That's generally how I am. However, when you add fever to the mix, you get extra silly. You know what I decided to do? You can probably tell from the title of this video. I decided to go over every single book that I have bought this year and show you. Still think it's a good idea. Well, good idea. Now I'm gonna start with telling you about the 4 books that I got for Christmas. So, I am Icelandic. My name is Gunnhildur. Don't know why I didn't start with that, but yeah. So in Iceland in Christmas time, it has been a tradition to gift books. Because it's generally cold and dark outside, and we gift books. Because books are good, they're good company, it's a nice hobby to have. You know, I don't need to give excuses. This is, you know, people, if you watch them as you probably like books. So first book I'm gonna show you is actually in Icelandic. 3 of them are. Trust me, the rest is in English, which probably doesn't mean that I'm a good Icelander because I read mostly in English. Oh well. This is called Íslensk orðsnilld. It is full of quotes from Icelandic literature, from the sagas, from poems from our famous writers. So my brother found this secondhand and gave it to me, and I didn't know that I needed this book, but I'm actually quite happy that he did. The One and Only Cookbook in this video, by my favorite author slash cook called Nanna Rögnvaldsdóttir. And I hadn't been talking about this book with anyone, but my oldest sister has a sixth sense when it comes to me. This is a cookbook for the entire fall seasons, and you know, really looking forward to this one because I didn't tell anyone about it. I think they know me by now. And the third and last book in Icelandic, it is actually about the life and art of Adelberg, who is a magician when it comes to knitting with Icelandic wool. She mostly knits with the type of wool that is called innband, means single string. It is a lace white weight against type of wool. And this woman, she will just sit down for a month and make a whole dress. She was really big in the 50s, 60s, 70s. And some of that I'm actually quite it's really impressive what this woman has done. Alrighty, and the last book that my nephew actually got me, completely out of left field. I didn't expect it, but he apparently knows that his aunt is has eclectic taste in literature. It is A History of Magic, Witchcraft and the Occult, which, again, another book I didn't know that I needed, but it is really interesting. I still haven't read it, but it really goes over the history of magic, and it also goes into literature and music and movies and all that. So much art. You know what? Let's start with the standalones. Star Wars, Scum and Villainy. Haven't read it yet, but I found it. I'm interested. It has a case. It goes over so many things. Star Wars. I'm not even showing you properly. Like, Kiki. My Kiki heart is smiling. Look at him. Really impressed with the art. So, Case Files of the Galaxy's Most Notorious. And the next out of left field that I really don't have an excuse with. This is actually because of TikTok. I follow a content creator there called the Eldritch Author, who has a really interesting storyline that he's presenting, and it is really D&D based, and it's based on Ravnica. Now, I don't play D&D, and I have no idea about Ravnica, and so I decided to get this book so I could understand his content. I mean, I've done dumber things, and honestly, I have no regrets. It looks really cool. I kind of want to play D&D, but my favorite author, Terry Pratchett, who sadly is no longer with us. I did get some books. No Discworld series because I have all of them. I did get two play adaptations of two of my favorite books by him. The Shakespeare Codex and Hogfather, which is my absolute favorite Discworld novel. And yeah, going from the novel and seeing how it's reinterpreted as a stage play is like really interesting. Let's see, the next three books are actually about Terry Pratchett, Sir Terry Pratchett himself. I Blink on the Screen, collected short fiction. I have read this one. Terry Pratchett, in his own words, I slip on the keyboard. It's a collection of his essays type of things, and really brought a further face to my absolute favorite author. And I'm not gonna lie, I did cry a little bit because I mean the man was an absolute legend, is an absolute legend, and there's the magic of Terry Pratchett. Is it bad to say that I can't remember if I think I haven't read this one yet? No, I haven't read it. And then it's the Wit and Wisdom of Discworld. This has been on my nightstand because these are just direct quotes from the books, and on this channel I did start, and I'm gonna continue in the new year, a series where I reread every single Discworld novel and review it, and in most cases I will be recommending books. So this is actually a really good primer for me for that self-inflicted task. And then the last book with Sir Terry Pratchett is The Turtle Recall, which is actually a newest version of the Discworld Companion. Yeah, I do have the other ones, the older ones. This is basically every single character, architecture, city, country, anything that is noteworthy in a Discworld, and you sometimes just need a primer on it. That's what this book is. This is the newest edition of the Discworld Companion, and every new edition means that someone else has to be taken out, or something else has been taken out, and something new is added. So I collect every single one of them because I'm a Discworld geek. I do have listen, I don't know how to put this in words, but I think it does explain quite a bit about what kind of person I am. I am very impressed by Sir Terry Pratchett and what he has done, and seeing what inspires him and reading about that did bring my attention to a certain book that obviously I had to get, because anything that Sir Terry Pratchett recommends, I need to look into it. But here's the thing, I looked into it and I did manage to get the newest edition. These are the Brewer's Dictionary of Phrase and Fable. Humongous book, and has a lot in it. And this being actually this is the 20th edition. I think there's a new one, but I really wanted this one because it has, yeah, well, it's a newest edition. It does have quotes from Terry Pratchett, and again, it's a beast of a book, but it's not the first and only edition that I got. I did also get the 16th edition, which has an introduction by Terry Pratchett. And because, you know, I wanted this book because it has Terry Pratchett, but then I saw that they had a newer, you know, 20th edition. I wanted to get that as well because clearly, I mean, every edition, a new edition has something different. So I got these two. Well, I found an even older edition. It's the Centenary edition, secondhand. It's bloody. I mean, it's not worn though. Like, it hasn't been really read a lot. But it's another edition, and I really like seeing what changes between editions. But also because it has. This was a gift. Look at it. So, yeah, I am the type of person that when I see something like this, you know, a collection of phrases or fables, I'm probably gonna get every single edition. Maybe not every single edition, but at least these three. And look at the changes over the years. Like, there's quite a bit of a change. Alright, so where to next? Let's just go with these little ones. So it's the Ludicrous Laws of Old London. Listen, I think it's... No, it's not this one, it's the next one. The Strange Laws of Old England. This, I was looking... I mean, this was on my wish list for like, what, 2 years or something? And definitely an interesting book. Like, all the strange old laws of Old London, because Old London had a lot of strange laws. Old England as well. This also has Ireland, Scotland and Wales. And the main reason about this one is because of a single bit negative, yeah, it was definitely a negative review on this book, made by someone who insisted that the only people who were able to read this book were people who practice law. Which I was a little bit befuddled by because I'd already read this one, and I mean, Nigel Cawthorne is not a complicated author. That came out a bit weird. But also this review insisted that the tone was, what, pretentious and... No. I've read pretentious books. This is not one of these. And the only reason that I can find that this person insisted that you could only... Like, the only people who would be able to read this and enjoy this book, people who practice and study law, is because there's, what, 2 or 3, like a handful of direct quotes of strange laws that, you know, repeat them verbatim. That's the only time that, you know, anything is like in any kind of legalese, and that's old legalese. For the main point, just to show that the laws are worded rather interestingly, basically. So yeah, I bought this book both because I enjoyed the previous work, but also because of that single negative review, so thank you, reviewer. Fox Tossing and Octopus Wrestling. Very interesting book. All across the world, very strange sports. The fox tossing and the octopus wrestling. The fox tossing breaks your heart, basically. Yeah, I wasn't really... Okay, so comic, curious and quirky news stories from centuries past. I have finished reading this one. My reading list of this year is tragically short. I have not finished reading most of these books, by the way. I could not focus on books this year, but I did buy them. I did read this one, and for the most part I would recommend it because these are the news articles from ages past, mostly American and British, I believe. It's just the author added headlines or titles that sometimes are in rather bad taste. There's a story or news article rather early on in this book, like in the first 10 pages I believe, that is about a dragoon from 18 something, and basically he's at a pub. He goes upstairs. The clientele downstairs hear a sound and see certain type of liquid that should stay inside the body. See that dripping down from above, so they rush up and find the poor dragoon had ended his life with his gun. And I mean, the descriptions of old-time news articles are, they're uncensored, so, you know, trigger warning basically, but it's the title that the author chose to put on this tragic news. I did find it's on page 14. Like, I don't even want to read it out loud, so you can read it. That is in such poor taste. I don't care. Yeah, it was in 1775. I don't care if it's been a long time ago. This type of title is just in horribly poor taste. Like, it does tell you what happens, or happened, but it's in poor taste. So moving on, I bought this recently, actually here in Iceland. It's the Little Book of Lost Words. Still haven't read it, got it just before Christmas. It even has an exchange note on the back. But I'm interested. Like, this is the how the book is set up. Like, there's an artwork and then a word. Really probably gonna enjoy reading this because it's geeky enough for me. I like geeky books. One of the first purchases of this year, actually, Adequate. First published in 1964. This facsimile edition published 2009. And I read this. It's interesting. And I do agree there are some things in Adequate of times past that everyone might benefit from taking leaf, or, you know, at least take a note of. But some of the things I'm like, this one, unmentionable. I definitely enjoy this book. It's presented really, really interestingly, and I do believe I'm waiting on a book, or, you know, another book by this author, because how she presents this book is basically the author having conversation with you, the reader, making a story. Basically, you as the reader have stepped back in time. The author is guiding you, and the tone is a bit sassy, a bit sarcastic, a bit sardonic, and in your face. And I like this type of. Didn't expect to like this type of presentation or voice in the book, but I definitely like this one. True Ladies and Proper Gentlemen. Again, another Adequate book. By the Victorian time, because Victorian time was really interesting. Like, colors in bonnets and colors for different seasons. Like, we still kind of do that, even in Iceland, but then you have people like me who just break it because, why not? Don't know why I'm so interested in Etiquette books, but here we go. Oh, this is another one of my recent purchases. It's Your Guide to Not Getting Murdered in a Quaint English Village. It's not bad, but it's mostly like this. A big artwork and a bit of text. I was kind of expecting something more like, you know, How to Survive a Horror Movie. This is a really good book. I've had that one for years, or How to Survive Alien Invasion. So I'm a little disappointed, but that's because my expectations were different from what the book actually had to offer. So, double-edged sword. I would still recommend this book. It's still interesting. It's just not quite what I personally expected. It's gonna be a really long video. Next up, let's go over the books that I bought myself for NaNoWriMo that... Yeah, probably should have bought them earlier and in a time when I actually had time to read, but hey. During NaNoWriMo I decided to write or at least do my zero draft for a story about female pirates going on adventure, basically. So I bought Pirate Woman. This is, again, all about pirate women. The Golden Age of Piracy. Which... so many things! Like, it's so thick. It's got so many things to write. Right, read. But at least the text. The lettering size. Pirates, I bought this booklet, The Pirate Ship, because a lot of the action happens on board a ship, so probably better to know at least something about ships, because I don't. I'm not regularly on a ship that might pass for something that would be in that, like, it's not a historical book. And I got The Pirate World, a history of the most notorious sea robbers. Maybe seeing a pattern here. Like, every book that I felt looked like something that might help me write about pirates. I got these for definitely just about pirates, and then I got this really nice. I mean, look at the shine. The Ocean, the Ultimate Handbook of Nautical Knowledge. Because one of the other big set pieces, apart from the pirate ship, is the ocean, because guess where they are? And again, I'm not setting the story on Earth, but the more you know about the ocean, admittedly some of the parts here aren't gonna be very helpful for my book, but maybe for me. It does have a lot of information about the sea, from A to Z. So definitely something helpful for me, because I need all the help that I can get. Actually, let's get proper into fiction. So I bought quite a few series, and I am going to be reading. Let's actually start. Yeah. For example, the entire collection of Jane Austen that I was going to be reading past summer, but time ran away from me, so I think I only read Northanger Abbey. That's not good enough for me, so I intend to read every single book by Jane Austen. Interesting one. Cornelia Funk's Inkheart series has a history with me. So I didn't even see the movie, The Inkheart, with Brendan Fraser. I love him. I saw a part of the last, I think it's maybe around the middle to later part of the movie. So I actually had to go in on my computer and Google the movie to find out about it. And then I found out about the Inkheart series. Mixed reviews, but I mean, bad reviews don't always mean that a book is bad. So got interested in this book, had to wait for it to be restocked, and then I ordered the entire series. You can see it's still wrapped in plastic. Another author that I really want to get into, because starting Nano, I saw a lot of Brandon Sanson. I also listened to the podcast that he has with others called The Writing Excuses, and those definitely helped me getting through Nano. So I decided to get into Brandon Sanson, start with the Mistborn series. Again, still wrapped in plastic, because my reading is going so well. Hopefully it's gonna get better in 2021, because Lord knows I have enough to read. But again, I'm gonna start with the Mistborn series because people have been recommending it. Another thing that I've been really behind on has been the his Dark Materials. So I bought the collection book. It's really cute. So, Nothing Lights, The Subtle Knife and the Amber Spyglass. It's gonna be really interesting to read. I think the letter size is okay, but I definitely need to be in proper light in order to read it, so okay. The Books of Earthsea by Ursula K. Le Guin. A lot of people have been talking about her. I still haven't read any by her. So I bought the collection book again. Really cute. But the letter size is tiny. So again, I'm gonna need to read this in really, really nice light. So probably in the summertime when we actually have, you know, proper lighting. And then I got the Complete Tales and Poems of Edgar Allan Poe. Is it Raven or Frost? Like literally the only thing I've read by Edgar Allan Poe so far has been the poem, The Raven. And again, it's the curse of the tiny lettering. So Poe is probably gonna have to wait until summertime. I did, however, also pick up Agatha Christie's. Agatha. I am so done with this cold. It is playing Handbook with... It's messing with my accent. But it's Agatha Christie's Miss Marple, The Complete Short Stories. I have lettering proper size. I have long been a fan of Agatha Christie, because who hasn't? Like, I was raised on the TV series of Hercule Poirot. Haven't really read any of those stories, which is succulent. Apart from years and years ago, I got a secondhand copy of And Then There Was None. I love that book. It is fantastic. That story is just... No spoilers, just if you can get a copy of it, recommend it. It is so good. It is so good. Next ups are actually my books that are about writing. The Writers and Artists Yearbook of 2022. Huge. It has so many informations just about everything to do with this. Was recommended to me that, you know, in order to know anything more about writing and publishing, that this is a good book to have, and hopefully. You know what, let's start with these 5. Romancing the Beat. I actually did already have this in Kindle edition and loved it, so getting it in paper book format, or you know, just physical format, this is a good book. Do I write romance? Not yet. This just makes everything really, really simple. I did also buy and read Craft in the Real World, which like a lot of people have read it. Yes, I do recommend it. It just brings light to a lot of things that you probably, most of us just don't think about. Like a lot of other things, but this definitely brings a lot to the table and a lot of things to think about, and it's needed. Ray Bradbury's The Zen in the Art of Writing. Another book that I have already read, because I am thinking about a type of series on this channel, basically about writing books. Also because I'm pretty certain these two, plus these other two, were inspired by Kate Kavanaugh. Actually, she also read this one, because this one is good. I think all 5 were inspired by Kate Kavanaugh, but I already read this one years ago. This is really good. Just a kinda a note of warning, though it might be really, really obvious. Ray Bradbury really knows who Ray Bradbury is. On Writing Well, haven't read this one yet. But it does seem to go very well with writing, so hopefully. And Save the Cat writes a novel, because everyone on YouTube writing about words. Everyone on YouTube making videos about writing have been talking about this book, and so I went to read it and see what everyone was about. It does have a lot of material, so this might take me a little while to read, but I mean, a lot of people recommend it, so I need to look into it. Next load. These I haven't seen recommended, but I did see them online, so want them. This one, it was the best of sentences, it was the worst of sentences, by June Casagrande. Not 100% certain what it's about, but I'm guessing it's about writing and the constructions of sentences by the looks of it. Probably a good idea. Like, grammar books are always gonna be helpful, so also it, like, the title alone is just interesting, and I can't wait to read this one. Naming the World by oh, it's a compendium. Edited by Brett Anthony Johnston. Shiny. So again, another book. Oh, that for some reason has this in it. I am not the type of person who like folds down pages, so I'm not fond of that. I need to put that on the bottom so that try and flatten that out. But you know, it seems to be mostly about like making a world and building. You know, I don't know what it's about yet. I'm gonna find out. It's gonna be interesting. This one that I came across, it's actually about screenplays. I liked it, didn't love it, by Rona Edwards and Monica Scarbelis. I have no idea how to pronounce it. The title alone is really interesting, but also like this is, I mean, it's about screenplays, and it's about, you know, the industry. Not quite where my interest in writing lays, but still, I feel compelled to read this book, so I got it. It's a book, I want to read it. We're at the home stretch, so I do have these 4. I did have the other 3 already. It's a 7-book series so far by Angela Ackerman and Becca Puglisi. It's basically a series of thesaurus. What? Like this one, the occupation thesaurus. I have no idea how to pronounce that. God damn it. Basically, let's see, it's an emotional wound, occupation, urban setting, and rural setting. And the thing is, I feel like there is no ending to the research that you can do, and if someone else has done the research for you, go for it. I've also got these 4. These are workbooks by A. Kavanagh. 30 Days of World Building, How to Destroy the World from Sanctity to Sorcery, and How to Create History. Workbooks, because Lord knows I need the help, all the help that I can get. So the last load of books that I got in December. Plants That Kill. Yes, please. But also Plants That Cure. And I don't know, because I picked this one out earlier, and then I picked this one out. They're by, I think, the same author. And I think I got this one basically to mitigate this one. Because I kind of felt like it was looking a little spooky in my basket. Let's see, I am missing 2 books from this. They are on the way. That it would be the New York Times and someone else. But basically, these are style guides. The Oxford Guide to Plain English and the Economist Style Guide, 12th edition. As I said, I still have the New York Times, and I feel dumb. It's the Times and the New York Times on the way. Because style guides, you can definitely always use them. Real American Girls. Short and sweet. Basically, it's from the journals and diaries of real American girls. Short, sweet, and for some reason I'm really excited about it because it's their own voices. These 2 got recommended to me. It's a bit very, very Nordic. It's the Nordic theory of everything in search of a better life by Anu Partanen, a Finnish woman living in America, I think New York, but I'm not entirely certain. And then Michael Booth, the almost nearly perfect people behind the myth of the Scandinavian utopia. And the thing is, I'm Icelandic, which means that we are not Scandinavian, we are Nordic. The Scandinavians will never tire of reminding us that we are not Scandinavian, because we are not on the Scandinavian peninsula. And I want to read this, mostly because I think Michael Booth is British, is a Brit living in Denmark, and Anu Partanen is Finnish, living in America, and I really, really want to read these and basically just see what their perspective is. Canterbury Tales, I read them ages ago, and I really, really, really want to read them again because it's inspirational. Another Agatha Christie, The Mysterious Affair of Styles. I am starting my collection of Agatha Christie slow and steady, so started with this one. And lastly, Sylvia Plath, The Bell Jar. I think it was who was it? Jack Edwards recommended. I still haven't read Sylvia Plath anything. Listen, I am on a journey to rectify my lack of literature reading. I've been for the past years I've been reading so many non-fiction, that actual fiction, apart from Discworld. I haven't really done it, so I will be rectifying that. So yeah. Why did my feverish brain decide that this was a good idea to do on a day when I have a cold and not really a brain? Don't know. But we've done it. These are, I think, all the books that I bought in 2021. Quite a few. Haven't read all of them, but hey, that's what the future is for. I mean, as a lot of other people have also said, buying books is a different hobby from reading books. We like to read the books as well. But yes. So, thank you. This is probably going to be a real long video, but thank you if you stuck with me this far. And I will see you in the new 2020. Hopefully with more books, because you can always add to the shelves. But thank you for watching, and take care. Bless, bless.